Hi, and welcome to Happy Trails. I'm Matthew, obviously, and today we will be visiting the Isle of Anglesey in North Wales. I really hope you guys like ghost stories because our location today has a good one. I will be painting South Stack Lighthouse, which stands at the westernmost point of Anglesey, 3 miles from the town of Holyhead. Now, I for one love a lighthouse. They are one of my favourite features to paint, and this one is a real beauty. But just FYI, this is not an art tutorial. I am here to talk about the history of this very interesting place. However, if you want to know a little more about my painting process, please let me know in the comments. I do love to chat, and I will happily talk your ear off. South Stack Lighthouse is more than 200 years old. It is one of several lighthouses in Anglesey and many more in the UK, which were all built and are managed by Trinity House. South Stack was completed in 1809 at a cost of £12,000, roughly £558,000 in modern money. It was then converted from manned to automated in 1983. The lighthouse comes in at a respectable 92 feet or 28 metres tall, which is a little over half the height of the UK's tallest lighthouses, Bishop Rock and Eddystone. The main function of South Stack Lighthouse is to aid ships travelling the perilous Dublin to Holyhead to Liverpool route. Now, the Irish Sea is notoriously choppy and tempestuous, and the seas around the coast of Anglesey are extremely difficult to navigate safely. Don't believe me? Have a look online, and you can count the number of wrecks which lie in this area, either on the mainland or beside the numerous islets which dot the waves. They are popular spots for divers, and every so often you will still find operations to remove the goods and treasures from these wrecks. The seas here have claimed more than a few ships and hundreds of lives, and to that end, South Stack Lighthouse does not perform its duty alone. For starters, there are plenty of other lighthouses around the coast of Anglesey, notably Trwyndu in the northeast, which is between Penmon Point and Puffin Island, and Tŵr Mawr to the south. Please excuse my very poor Welsh. These are all aided in their duties by strategically placed foghorns, buoys or buoys if you're a US viewer, beacons and other types of marker. Even the land itself can serve as a navigational tool. A good example is the mice. Now, I'm not talking about the small squeaky animals, but a series of small islands, the East, West and Middle Mouse islets. Though they can't be that effective, since they've claimed quite a few ships themselves over the last 2 centuries. South Stack Lighthouse is typically the first of these navigational aids to greet ships which are sailing from Ireland, and it guides them around the coast to the north towards Holyhead. Its light is so powerful that it is visible for 24 nautical miles, which is about 44 kilometres or 28 land miles. Now, the lighthouse was designed by Daniel Asher Alexander. You may not be familiar with that name, I certainly wasn't, and South Stack probably is not what he's best remembered for. Alexander is probably more easily remembered as the chief architect of Dartmoor Prison. This is one of the oldest prisons in the UK and probably one of the more notorious, having formerly hosted some of the most violent and dangerous men in Britain. Daniel Alexander passed away in Exeter, Devon in 1846. South Stack is still a functioning lighthouse, and as such, it's not always open to the public. You can visit, however, seasonally during the warmer months. The former engine room is a particular draw with tourists, and you can then climb right to the top for a stunning panoramic. South Stack Lighthouse stands within a pretty sizable RSPB reserve. That basically means it's a protected area for wild birds. Guillemots, puffins, razorbills, even the occasional very rare chough can be spotted flying about the cliffside. Just be aware, there's no toilet on the island and you can only pay by cash, so go prepared. Visitors will also want to be fit and have a good head for heights. Access to the lighthouse is via 400 stone steps built into the extremely steep cliffs, including an aluminium bridge which was put there in 1997. And if you think that's bad, spare a thought for the original keepers of the lighthouse. The first iron suspension bridge wasn't built until 1828 and was then replaced in the 60s with a similar design. Previously to that, the only way to cross from the mainland over to South Stack Lighthouse was in a basket suspended on a hemp cable. Yeah, forget that. Speaking of the original keepers, I believe I promised you a ghost story, didn't I? Well, I am a man of my word. South Stack has a chilling legend, ringed with truth. The lighthouse has been visited by more than a few ghost hunters, and it even featured in a 2007 episode of Most Haunted. And I will just say that if you do want to check out the episode, it's episode 1 of series 9, which you can watch on Amazon Prime if you're in the UK, or you can look up on YouTube. So, let's set the scene. It is October 1853. A violent storm rages. This storm is not part of the legend. It is only too real, and there are plenty who will go on to write about this terrible night. The waves rear up against the cliff like barbarians battering at a city wall. A terrible gale shrieks, as shrill and inhuman as a wailing banshee. Loose rocks and debris are hurled up at the path, the earth itself weaponised by the unquenchable ire of wind and water. Inside South Stack Lighthouse, the keepers hunker down, praying for relief. There's not a damn thing they can do, and they know it. Already, dozens of ships have gone under. The storm has fed on more lives than they can stand, but there is still one more to follow. A local lad, Jack Jones, works as the assistant to the lighthouse keepers. Brave, determined, and dutiful to the point of stubbornness, Jack has gone out into the ferocious tempest, determined to warn the town. The storm hadn't yet hit the houses when he first ventured out. Now, as he struggles back, the elements are in full force. He clambers onto the iron bridge. With each fresh barrage of wind, the metal creaks and groans. The walkway begins to sway. Sheets of rain soak Jack to the bone. Seawater sprays up into his eyes. Jack is blinded. He doesn't see the chunk of stone break off the cliff, not until it's too late. Blood runs down into his eyes. Dizzy, concussed, somehow he makes it back up to his knees, nursing the wound with his hand. Jack crawls along the bridge, inch by painful inch, until finally he reaches the lighthouse. With the last embers of his strength, Jack drags himself upright and pounds against the door. No help ever comes. The howling storm is too loud. The lighthouse keepers don't hear the hammering on the locked door, nor on the windows. It is only in the morning, when the storm has abated, that they think to look for their young assistant. They don't have to look far. Jack lies by the front door. It's been a long time since anybody has spent the night at South Stack Lighthouse. At least, anybody living. Former keepers and those who have snuck in after dark have reported hearing a furious hammering at the door and windows. When they go to answer it, they find the doorway empty, only for the hammering to begin anew the moment they have walked away. Like I said, Jack was dutiful to the point of stubbornness. It seems death has done little to change that. And on that spooky note, I think we will leave South Stack Lighthouse behind. If you've ever been here, or if it's somewhere on your bucket list, please do let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and a comment. I'm very aware that this is still quite rough around the edges, because I've never done anything like this before, and I'm learning as I go. If you'd like to see more of my artwork, you can find me on Instagram as Painted by Matthew. Take care and see you next time.